Well, I have always loved the idea or the social dance form, but if we talk about it in terms of education, these moves or these forms weren't necessarily things that I was told were important. They were kind of things that you should leave outside. And on the inside, this is where we actually talk about real technique. I mean, I can use anything, but I think the Running Man is something that we all know, and I use that as an example of technique. If I got up right now and I did the Running Man wrong, everyone would start laughing because it's like, no, that's not the Running Man, that's not the way you do it, your hands, you know. So that means that there's a technique to it. You are connecting what you're seeing to someone's, what they're doing, and it's challenging you. And that's just what technique is. So it's not that hip hop or social dance is not a technique, it's that we have been conditioned to think that it's not. So now it's about us trying to, in confidence, in performance, moving in the way that is the language of the body, is the African culture, is the African American culture, and these are techniques. Aspects of like what our codes are, the DAP. What does that mean? That's a language too.
Okay. What this pretty much means is I'm not above you, I'm not beneath you, side by side, we're together. Okay? That's exactly what it meant. So what I want you to do, take 4 counts. Make your own special DAP. Whatever you want to do. 6 and 5. 6, 7, and 8 is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
I call it cultural codes too because some people might not hear that we're riffing on inside of the whole work. You're gonna hear Biggie Sky's the Limit. We're playing a musical, piano version of it, and it might seem, if you don't know, like, wow, that's a really lovely melodic tune. But if you do, that's Biggie Sky's the Limit. With the trilogy is that Tolerance was the only one that was supposed to be the evening length. So I had never done an evening length before, and it was like a big deal to me. It was the first like controversial work that I had done too. So it was tapping into like politics and stereotypes.
I pulled up to the house about 7 more, 8, I down to the county, your home, sway away now, look at my kingdom, I'll probably there, sit on my throne as a prince of Bel-Air.
Normally it takes me about 1 to 2 years to create a work. It took me that time to do Tolerance. And I thought, okay, well, we did an overview of stereotypes, black stereotypes for Tolerance, but I don't know if I want to sit for another 2 years and unpack stereotypes specifically dealing with black girls, because I have to deal with that stuff every day. So I thought, well, there's got to be something else that I could talk about. I said, okay, well, what did you do when you as a little girl? Oh, you played double dutch. Why don't you go and give them that? So I gave them like this little double dutch routine, and I thought, whoa, maybe I could talk about that, the idea of play, the idea of rhythm. Who is a cultural anthropologist, Amy Cox, and she gave me a book by Kira Gunk called The Games Black Girls Play. And it talks about the contributions of black girls through hip hop, music, jazz composition. And I started looking at the hand, like numbers, the hand game, and I thought, whoa, that was really serious musical compositions that we were doing as kids, and we didn't even know it. Going from 7s to 5s to 3s, quick. Going from a rhythm of hip hop to reggae to R&B, you know, flipping back and forth, something that is also very African too. The idea of rhythm constantly being in our bodies, regardless of what happened during the Middle Passage, where there was this kind of trying to strip us from that culture, but somehow it is able to continue to live in us. And when I was thinking about the work, I said, oh man, the only person that I know that could do this is Kat Foster.
So whatever I do, you're gonna repeat.
And I also want to, within that piece, talk about patriarchy and to challenge that too, because in some relationships we are put into roles, like the man is the caregiver and the woman is like the supporter. And my challenge to everyone is that, well, these roles can also be interchangeable. Like the woman may not be able to physically pick the man up, but to a certain degree, she is lifting him in very spiritual aspects. There's a section called Turf, and it is about the experience of Black men, and almost like a rite of passage. So it's a truncated version of Black girl linguistic play. So within Black girl, it's about the maturation of Black girls into women, and Turf, which is the idea of brotherhood. What does that look like when it's a rite of passage, where they start out as young boys, and then they start getting a little older, a little more cockier, and then and then they get hit with this idea of like being a Black man in America. We are dimensional, and Black brotherhood is also about protection too. And so throughout that section, the men are navigating, as men, they are navigating being adults, but they are doing it protecting each other the whole time. If we are talking about the authenticity of the Black community, it is less about us trying to prove that and more about us creating the community and allowing audience members to come in to our world. So you just have to focus on your community. The deeper I dig into African and African American culture, the more I have to be ready for people not to get it. And that's okay, because if I get it, if you get it as a Black girl 20 years from now, then I'm doing my job.